That's a tough question, Dan, because I think when you have a defensive coordinator that has the ear of the team and has the confidence of the team, every player on the field benefits.
Big Sales National Football Show. I want to tell you, I went back and I talked to my high school coach, and he's like, "Yeah, don't you remember me bringing you up to Milford Academy, and there was Vic Fangio sitting across from you and recruiting you when he was the defensive coordinator? It was a prep school, and I may have had to go to prep school to get my grades up so that I could get in. I ended up getting into Maryland anyway at the time. Then obviously I transferred to Miami. But I mean, there was Vic Fangio. And I had completely forgotten. I've told some of you guys this story. And he also said, "Do you remember what he did? He took you out to lunch." I sent him and I told Clint Hurt, the defensive line coach who I know from UM, and obviously he's a friend of ours. I told him to tell him. So I got a text just a couple hours ago from Clinton. He said, "Vic goes, yeah, Joe Angelo brought you up." It's just funny how you sometimes you forget the people you meet in the journey. Can you imagine Merrill Reese and all the people that he has bumped into over the legendary years of calling the Philadelphia Eagle games? I mean, I didn't even know I knew Vic Fangio until a month ago when someone told me he recruited you. And so when I heard the press conference with him and I heard him talking, I think he exudes confidence. And I'm going to ask him, and I appreciate him coming aboard with us now. First and foremost, Merrill Reese joins us now. I have to find out about the golf game. This was last week. Merrill, how'd you hit him?
I hit him well. I'm playing well right now.
Are you playing around your age?
Just got off the course about 20 minutes ago.
Right? Best part of your game, short game, putting, sand, tee shot.
About 100 yards in.
100 yards in, so you're a sharpshooter.
Well, I have a good wedge game, and I can chip and pitch and do all those things. My distance isn't great, but it's adequate, so I can play.
I love it, man. So, like, what's your favorite course in that area?
My favorite course is Marion.
Oh man, Marion, tell me please. I have a dream, Merrill, of playing all the United States Open golf courses. So listen to what I've played. I've played Wingfoot. I've played Olympic. I've played Cherry Hill. Let me see. I played PGA National. Now, that was the PGA Championship that Nicklaus won in 75. That wasn't a U.S. Open course. And I played, the one up in one in Massachusetts that Jones won his first
Brookline, Massachusetts.
Brookline. That's what I played. I wanted to play the Jones courses because I don't know. I had a thing about golf early on. I wanted to play all these legendary.
He completed his Grand Slam at our wonderful Marion Golf Club.
Oh, so he won it. He won the U.S. Open at Marion, or did he win the U.S. Amateur at Marion?
U.S. Amateur in 1920.
Wow. Yeah. So he completed the Grand Slam when he won the two amateurs, British and U.S., and then he won the two Opens, British and U.S. Because he was a lawyer from Georgia Tech.
Yes.
And my friend who goes to Augusta all the time said that thing was a nursery. And he was such a major guy during the war that from 1945 or whatever it was, they stopped playing the Masters. Right. And they would put all the artillery in the infield.
Yes. Yes.
Have you ever played Augusta?
No, I've been to Augusta. I've watched the Masters, but I have never played Augusta.
Did you get a chance to listen to the interviews from Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore this past week?
I did.
I came away that there's a new sheriff in town, Merrill. I mean, I love the way he talked, the way I'm talking Vic first. And so I ask you, who do you think benefits the most with Vic Fangio as being the defensive coordinator on that side of the ball with the current roster they have over there? Who benefits the most?
That's a tough question, Dan, because I think when you have a defensive coordinator that has the ear of the team and has the confidence of the team, every player on the field benefits. The two players that you would like to see show the greatest improvement because they are both enormously talented and both have not played a full season at that top level. One was Jordan Davis, who's now going into his third year, and he's shown moments and he's had games, but he hasn't put it together yet where you would say Jordan Davis, wow. And the other, of course, is Jalen Carter, who was great for about half a season last year, but kind of disappeared toward the last part of the season as a dominant player. So those are the two who you would hope benefit, and well, you hope everybody benefits. And perhaps the guy who hasn't made a mark yet, more because of injury than anything else, is Nakobe Dean. So we'll see.
Merrill, help me out on this. You had a chance to watch Jerome when he first. I don't remember. You know what? I have the Pro Bowl list, and I don't see Jerome was a starter his first year when he got to Philadelphia in '87. And then Jalen Carter was kind of in and out of the starting lineup as well. I don't remember if he started a bunch of games or not last year. But do you see that same kind of talent that I see in Jalen Carter or in Jerome? Or is it just too early still to get there with Jalen because Jerome was so explosive? Do you see any comparisons to those two guys?
I agree with the option three, Sam, that it's too early to tell. I mean, Jerome came in and he was rowdy from day one, and he bristled with confidence. But it was a different age, and it was a different guy running the whole team then, who was really more like a defensive coordinator, Buddy Ryan.
Hey, Merrill, you're muted. You're muted, Merrill. Merrill, you're muted.
Can you not hear me?
Yeah, I got you now. I got you now.
I lost you.
Yeah, we got you now.
I can't hear you.
Huh.
Huh.
Let's see if we can sit here and maybe reconnect here a little bit and get Merrill up here. So, see, that's a great comment by Merrill. I hadn't thought of. There was a different temperament in the locker room with Buddy Ryan versus having Nick Sirianni because you had a guy in the building that had that. He also exuded confidence. And that defense had to have confidence because the D coordinator demanded it. It's a great comment on why that Gang Green defense was the way it was, is because Buddy demanded, and it was a different style of coaching than what the Eagles do today when it comes to how that organization was run. Let's bring Merrill back in
Dan, am I
here.
back?
Yeah, I got you, Merrill. Thank you.
Okay. I disappeared for a moment. I just all of a sudden disappeared.
How about this, Merrill? I had never really thought about what you said about the way Buddy also demanded that you have tremendous confidence. And maybe that just was the difference in the NFL at the time too, Merrill, that you had these gigantic personality coaches like Ditka and Buddy and all those coaches like Parcells at the time. And it was a different way of running a football team than it is today.
It was different because I don't know that a coach today would have the same effect that Buddy had then. I mean, don't forget, Buddy was very, very tough on Jerome. He would scream at him and yell at him, and all Jerome would say is, "Oh, Buddy, you know I love you." You know, they had that kind of relationship. Buddy was a father figure to Jerome Brown.
Let me throw this at you here. Saquon Barkley's biggest impact on the offense will be what this coming year? Pass catching, running the ball, or pass probe, pass protection?
Well, I think I would hope it's running the football. and the fact that he's a 3-down back. I mean, last year, DeAndre Swift was a terrific back, but he came out on 3rd downs, and Kenneth Gainwell came in. So you're not going to have to do that with Saquon Barkley, although Gainwell will get his carries. But I think as an all-around back, and as a guy who breaks tackles, as good as Swift was, he was great in space, but he didn't run over people the way Saquon Barkley did. So I think as a ball carrier, as a protector, and as a 3rd down option uh, out of the backfield, I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be very impactful.
Merrill, what does Merrill Reese do in the offseason? Is there an offseason for Merrill Reese? You just told me about playing golf. Do you pick up any newspapers, read about the Eagles? Because Mike Quick told me, he goes, Sills, I get away from it. I don't read anything. I'm not plugged into anything. I unplug myself. You seemingly stay still kind of connected with it.
Oh, I am.
You'll go over to the NovaCare Center as well. What is the off season for Merrill Reese?
Yeah, it's that. It's staying connected with the team. I mean, I like to read about the team. I'll read everything the guys write when they do features. Occasionally, if there's an opportunity, I'll go down to NovaCare and try to meet some of the players, stay in touch with them. I play a lot of golf. I'm part owner of a radio station in the suburbs, so I go up there from time to time. So I keep busy. I do keep busy, but I do love my golf.
I see that. Merrill, couple last questions for you here. I asked Gary Cobb this in the last hour, and I'll ask you. And by the way, I'm very fortunate that Shady McCoy's now a friend of mine. We've been kind of communicating back and forth, but there's 2 stories in Philadelphia that don't seem to die. One
You know what?
is
Before you continue that, what do you think over the mantle in our fireplace, in our family room? There's the mantle over the fireplace with a huge picture of Shady McCoy. What do you think that picture depicts?
a touchdown
Shady McCoy leaping over the Lions in the snow game.
in the snow game. In the snow game.
Do you remember the snow game?
I sure do. I remember the snow game and the fog game for the Eagles. The 2 most
Shady
famous
McCoy
games.
had the all-time rushing record in that game.
So he passed Wilbert Montgomery? He passed Montgomery in that game?
Oh, no, he passed Van Buren.
Van Buren. Wow. So that goes back to the 40s or 50s?
49, I believe. Yes.
So help me out here. The organization with DJAX, it seems to me that story just doesn't die. They did a podcast the other day, and they were so angry and still. And believe me, Merrill, you hold grudges when things don't go south or they go south for you. I've done it too. These guys, and I completely understand it. And I asked Gary Cobb this question: do you think the organization has embraced these guys back into the organization on the whole way the whole thing was handled? Because obviously, Chip Kelly, his bedside manner wasn't anything to write home about. But the way that owner has handled some of his players in the past, he really loves his guys. And I'm wondering how you look at that now. Do you think that that's been resolved?
Oh, I definitely do, because because Deshaun retired here as an Eagle a couple of years ago and conducted a press conference, and we talked, and he went out on the field. Deshaun loves this organization now. And I will tell you, Dan, I have never seen an owner who loves his players more than Jeffrey Lurie. And one time I spoke with an assistant coach, and he said to me, my desire is to be a head coach one day. And I only hope that if I get that opportunity, I have an owner like Jeffrey Lurie, because all he says to his coach is yes. He doesn't micromanage. Whatever his coach needs, he will give him.
I'm going to leave you with this. Jared Goff just signed a 4-year, $212 million contract for $53 million annually. Could you ever imagine when you first got in the league, you're hearing numbers? You could have bought the Eagles back when you started in the league with what Jared Goff's making annually. I mean, it's the most incredible thing to see where this league has gone.
Well, it's the most successful league in all of sports, and the money just keeps on coming.
And so does Merrill's golf game. Merrill, thank you so much, my friend. Keep hitting them
Let,
straight.
Listen, let me tell you something. Merrill's golf game is fun and recreational, and I play all the charity events, and I play in some of our club tournaments and things of that nature. But I want to tell you something. Since the great days of Tiger Woods, I haven't seen anybody play as well as Rory McIlroy did yesterday. He was absolutely out of this world.
I think, hey, Merrill, what does he have left to get the Grand Slam? Is it the Open?
Now, the Masters.
The Masters. The Masters is the only one that he has for the career
Yes.
Grand Slam?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you want to hear a crazy stat? Sometimes when you're in the era of Tiger and you're in the era of some of these great quarterbacks like Tom Brady, you know, Phil Mickelson was never the number one player in the world at any time in his entire career because Tiger had dominated the world rankings so long that, hey, David Duval and Vijay Singh were the number one players in the world at one time, but never Phil Mickelson.
Well, how about this? Do you know what Rory McIlroy averaged off the tee this past weekend?
He is so long off the 325.
340 yards off
That's
the tee.
insanity. Can you imagine? I mean,
No.
people were going nuts when Nicholas was hitting 300 off the tee. Now you got guys like Shambo hitting 355, 360 off the tee. The golf is just so with these hybrids now too.
Right.
I mean, it's incredible where the game has gone right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much, Merrill.
Thank you, Dan. Always nice being on with you.
You got it. Our good friend Merrill Reese. We really appreciate him coming aboard with us here. Yeah, it's funny that I know some of this stuff, but again, remember something, folks. Big Sills was a sports talk guy for 34 years. We appreciate it. All right, guys, where are we now on the hit list? Where are we on the hit list? Where are we on the hit list? 237. All right. We need 13 more for 250.